Monday, and I know that's bad news. But on the bright side, the Charlotte Hornets are champions. Welcome into your one-stop shop for all things Charlotte Hornets. It's a Monday championship edition of Hornets Daily here, and as always, we're presented by the good people over at Fan Arc, and I'm your host, Vance Ballard, but you all know by now, you call me VB. Got a packed show here today. Want to thank everybody for joining, watching along with us. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave a like and a comment down in the comments section. We like to get into the chat, bring you guys on, be a little more interactive here on Hornets Daily. We'll continue to do that today as well. As I mentioned, it is a bit of a packed show. The Hornets go out to Las Vegas and get themselves a ring, 5-0 undefeated, as the Hornets take home the Summer League Championship last night. We'll talk about that game that took place. It was fun while it lasted, but unfortunately, PJ Hall's time here in Charlotte has come to an end. He signed a two-way contract, but not with the Hornets. We'll talk about where he landed as well. Now that Summer League has come to an end, it's time to ask, are those injuries that we saw out in Vegas, was that rest just precautionary, or should there be real concern there? We'll talk about who that involves and, again, get a little more into that question in the show today as well. And as I mentioned, we'll wrap things up with some chat thoughts. I asked you guys a question going away on Friday. Got some good answers there and a few other questions and comments in the chat that I'm going to talk about as well. So again, packed show on the docket today. A lot of buzz going around in the Queen City. And if you know anything about me, you know I don't do beating around the bush here on Hornets Daily. We're going to jump right into it. As I mentioned, we are the champions. The Charlotte Hornets go out to Las Vegas, go undefeated, 5-0 record in the Summer League, and capture their first ever Summer League title. They went out and beat the Kings last night, 83-76, in what was a much closer game than originally anticipated after the Hornets jumped out in front 34-18 after the first quarter of that game. They came out firing on all cylinders. And if you're anything like me, got a little bit comfortable, a little bit complacent there after that first quarter. But of course, as you know, if you watched the whole game, you finished on the edge of your seat, much like I did. Again, the Kings made it uncomfortable coming down the stretch. They did cut the lead to 1 or 2 points multiple times in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. But a Con Knipple clutch three-pointer and then a free throw to go along with it finished off the game, sealed the victory for the Hornets, capturing that championship out in Las Vegas. Now, a little about the game. Con Knipple, he won the Summer League MVP based on his performance last night and his others leading up to it. He finished with 33 minutes played, had 21 points. Not the best shooting performance, did go 8 of 21 from the field, 4 of 11 from behind the arc. Added 7 rebounds and 5 assists, had his fingerprints all over the game last night. And again, I mentioned that clutch 3 to seal the victory. Did so in a fancy looking headband. We saw him take a hard fall there, got 5 stitches above his eye, and was wearing a headband for health concerns last night, not doing a tribute to fellow rookie Liam McNeely. Khan said he didn't enjoy that headband and is probably not something that's going to continue to be part of his attire throughout the season. Kalkbrenner, for the first time last night, showed the aggression we've been waiting on, and boy was I pumped to see it. It was finally the time where he kind of took over that paint, made it his own, and we saw what can happen in a dominating performance from the big man. He played 28 minutes, 15 points, fantastic from the field, 5 of 6 shooting, even stepped out behind the arc and hit 1 of 1 from out there from three-point land. 9 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and finished at 4 of 5 from the free throw line. He too put in 2 clutch free throws at the end of the game to keep the Hornets ahead. Again, a very, very impressive performance from the big man inside, and nice to finally see him go out and dominate the way we've been asking for him to do here on Hornets Daily, giving us much needed promise about his game on the last time we see him before preseason. So nothing but good things to think about Kalkbrenner going forward a bright spot potentially as well. KJ Simpson, KJ Simpson, KJ Simpson. You know, I say it over and over again because, as you know, here on Hornets Daily, we love KJ Simpson. This is the only KJ Simpson podcast in the world. Now, he struggled offensively on the night, only 11 points from the guard, 4 of 15 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Not his best shooting performance, and I know we've seen some comments down in the chat, a few of you guys saying he has a tendency to be a bit of a ball hog. Had 5 assists last night, added 7 rebounds from his guard position, so he too put his fingerprints all over the game and played well, made an impact as one of the veteran and older guys on the Summer League team. He played just like that all throughout his time in Vegas. He too showed his development is ready to continue to improve and continue to get NBA minutes this season here in Charlotte. Jalen Sims, DJ Rodman also added to the game. They had 11 points apiece. Big, important minutes last night from Josh Aduro. It was nice to see that. He came in, didn't do a lot on offense, just 4 points, but grabbed 9 rebounds and was vital on the defensive end of the floor. It was good to see him come in, get some important minutes, and make an impact as well, giving some promise to what he could do down the line in the future. Overall, it was another extremely strong defensive performance from the Hornets and that Summer League roster, holding the Kings under 80 points in another game where in 2 of the 4 quarters they did not allow 20 points to be scored. Now, they held the Kings to 36.5% shooting from the field, just 20% from beyond the arc. Again, another great defensive recipe for a win, and they came out with that as well. Strong defense out in Vegas all summer. You can tell that even though he wasn't the actual head coach, he was there. We saw Charles Lee on the mic last night sitting with the broadcast booth, but you can tell that he does have his fingerprints all over this Summer League team in terms of the defensive mindset that they went into each and every one of these games in, playing phenomenal defense down the stretch in the last 3 games there, really using that to catapult themselves to their victories and a Summer League championship. My main takeaway from overall this summer is that the front office has built a young group of winners. Hyper-competitive guys. We've heard that saying over and over. That's been one of the buzzwords coming from Peterson and Lee. Competition, competitiveness, competitor, whatever form of the word you want to use, we know it's been beaten into our brains relentlessly so far this summer in Charlotte. And we've seen out in Vegas, specifically tonight when it got close, that is exactly what this young group of guys is. They're hyper competitive. They want to win no matter the stakes, no matter what's in store. And I think that was one of my bigger takeaways, is that this young team, this young unit are winners, and they want to win more than anything, desperately going out and competing each and every time on the floor. Again, they don't care what kind of game it is, be it an exhibition game, be it a championship exhibition game, or come the regular season. I'm sure that will not change as well. The older guys took a lot away from them. Also out in Vegas, a lot of positive things from them out in Vegas. They've shown that the Hornets development system has really worked. Tajon Salon, now he didn't play in the last 3 games, but he looked fantastic on the floor when he did play. You can tell that his development, his work ethic, his routine throughout the summer has really paid off as his game has improved. His shot looks a lot better on the defensive end of the floor. He seems more confident, like he's ready to take that next step and play like the 6th overall pick that we know he is. KJ Simpson had a big summer as well. You've heard me say that plenty of times. We won't go too far into it, but he looks good. He too looks ready to take that next step and be a bigger piece of an NBA roster. Again, adding some comfort to the point guard position if for any reason LaMelo, Colin Sexton, whoever it may be, is not able to fill that role. Even if they just need some rest for a minute, knowing that a guy like KJ Simpson is there, having watched his development, his game out in Vegas this summer, should provide a lot of optimism, a lot of security with that point guard position, knowing that we will be in good hands if it's not LaMelo or Colin Sexton, Spencer Dinwiddie, someone, Trey Mann, someone like that. If it's not them on the floor, there is still confidence knowing KJ Simpson is up to the task. Another guy we mentioned, Sims, earlier in the podcast. He looked very good. Jalen Sims all throughout this summer league. He had a much improved game as well. He utilized his minutes and opportunities on the floor very, very well, and I think he took advantage of each time he was given to play. I've seen some comments from you guys. I know it's spread throughout the chat here on Hornets Daily, as well as the internet, the rest of the internet, that he could potentially be one of the guys to get a G League invite, or now that PJ Hall's not there, maybe even that third two-way contract that's available goes to a guy like Jalen Sims after a good, strong showing out in Vegas for him. Now, we know this should be a disclaimer flashing across the screen the whole time. We've said it over and over and over again. I'm more than aware that the Summer League is not an indication of what's to come in the regular season all the time. We know, again, the Hornets went 7-1 last year out west, and we know how that regular season turned out. No need to rehash the bad memories there, but it is always nice to win a championship. It's always nice to get wins, and it is a good boost going forward into the preseason and the regular season for the guys that are going to make the roster, the guys that were around this summer league and got those victories. They got a taste of winning. They know what it feels like, and it's something they want to continue to do. So just despite that it was exhibition basketball, despite that it is just the summer league, just the rookies and second years and third year guys playing on the roster, it's nice to get wins. It builds a culture. It helps continue to build the culture that the Hornets front office, Jeff Peterson, Charles Lee, all of the above have been talking about all summer. So it's nice to go out and get a win and play well in each game, having to overcome some adversity, having to battle back and get some comeback wins, a couple blowout wins, and then just a fantastic shooting performance really the entire time out in Las Vegas from the offense. Again, as I've mentioned, they turned up the defense as well. A lot of positivity, a lot of good takeaways from the Summer League so far out there in Vegas this summer. Now, as the old saying goes, folks, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. That's what we've got to do with our time spent with former Clemson big man PJ Hall. As I mentioned earlier in the show, he has signed a two-way contract, but not with the Hornets. Unfortunately, Hall made his decision to sign a two-way deal with the Memphis Grizzlies prior to Sunday's championship game, so we did not see him make a performance. He did not get to play. It's a disappointment. The disappointment there is going to be widespread throughout the fan base, probably even throughout the organization, as he was getting a lot of looks, a lot of hype after the performances he was having out in Vegas. I know it was filled up in the Hornets Daily chat with sign PJ Hall, give PJ Hall the third two-way, make PJ Hall a part of this roster. That was a popular name in the comment section, and I tended to agree. I thought it was almost a done deal. He was going to get the Hornets' third two-way deal, but things have gone differently, and so PJ Hall is headed out to Memphis. He looked very good while he was on the floor. He really upped his shooting ability. A jump shot is certainly a jump shot is certainly in the bag for the big man as he continues to go forward. Now, we mentioned that does still leave a third two-way contract open for the Hornets, and it should be a good sign for Damian Baugh, as it could potentially free up or could potentially allow for him to keep the two-way deal he was on. I know there was talks of giving his away to PJ Hall as well if necessary, which it will no longer be. Now, the one thing that I do think about this move, as unfortunate as it is to lose a bright spot like PJ Hall, it still leaves a glaring hole and a lot of questions at the big man position. Hall on a two-way contract coming up and down could have alleviated some of those big man concerns, could have given the Hornets a few extra minutes at that position, but now they'll have to go elsewhere. Does that free up a chance for Drew Peterson? I know we kind of shoot it off when he got signed, didn't really know what it means, still don't necessarily for the organization, but does the leaving of PJ Hall allow for him on a two-way contract to come up and down, make his presence felt, and maybe carve out a little spot for himself in the rotation? Again, it leaves a lot of questions and we know we've talked, it feels almost inevitable that one more move is coming down the pipeline to solidify that big man position. We're still waiting to see if and what that's going to be. But this move, not acquiring PJ Hall, does bring about a bunch of questions at the big man position. Now, I'm not willing to go as far as to say this was a mistake by the front office. They've been too good this summer. Things are going too well. I don't want to call it that. But it is the first time the front office, in my opinion, didn't get a win this offseason. I think it would have been vital or a good move to bring in PJ Hall. Obviously, Jeff Peterson knows what he's doing and chose to go another route that is a-okay, and I'm more than willing to continue to trust Jeff Peterson until he gives me reason not to, with the success so far of what he's done, what he's been building under his new regime in Charlotte. But now we have to wait to see what Peterson and company are going to do in terms of that third two-way contract, in terms of that solidifying the big man position. Again, a lot of questions still to be answered as we go forward now in the offseason out in Charlotte. But again, a lot of trust in the front office so far, as they have done wonders this summer, building a core, building a young team, and trying to rebuild the Hornets culture into a winning one. I don't see any signs of them stopping or slowing that down. Whatever move they do make, I think it will be beneficial for the future going forward. Speaking of future going forward, we saw a lot of that out in Vegas. We saw 3 potential members of that future, who did not play in the last 3 games out in Las Vegas. Sion James, Liam McNeely, Tajon Salon were all absent from the championship game on Sunday, as well as the semifinals on Friday and the final game of the Summer League regular season as well. Now, we know that it's just an exhibition game, but since Summer League has wrapped up now, we do have to pose the questions. Are there any real concerns to those injuries, or is it something that was just precautionary rest? No need to have guys go out there in an exhibition game and risk getting hurt further or getting hurt at all if they're not in general. Again, it's just exhibition games that they were missing, but a bigger concern to me is Sion James and Liam McNeely. They too fall under that category of hyper-competitive rookies that we were talking about, that the Hornets have drafted, and not getting to see them play in the final 3 games. I'm not worried by any means, but it does pose some questions of how serious their injuries are, because again, back to the hyper competitiveness, they need the reps. They know they need the reps. McNeely is a guy who, when we've seen him on the floor, we know he wants to be there. Sion James, same way. He's got that kind of bulldog mentality towards the game as well. So it was a little bit pressing, I guess, to not see them out there, knowing how badly they would have wanted to be on the floor in what was a championship game, a chance for them to make their impact, contribute, and help their team out. So that part is the only reason that I really have any questions about it at all, with the level of importance in that championship game. You know that Sion James, Liam McNeely, those are the type of guys, those are the type of players that are going to do whatever it takes and are more than willing to run themselves out there in a championship type environment. So it's interesting to have seen them held out as well. Again, not overly concerned about Tajon Salon, not overly concerned about any of the 3, not really concerned at all about Tajon Salon. Him sitting out and his presence not being felt makes a little more sense, as we were able to pretty much see everything we needed to see in terms of his development so far this summer. In the first 2 games that he did play in, he looked fantastic. First 3 games, I'm sorry. In those games he did play in, Salon looked very good. A slower offensive night in the 3rd game, but double digits in the first 2. We saw the development taking place that he's been working on all summer. We saw the payoff from his staying in America, not going back home to France, and just dedicating himself to the gym this summer. We saw that payoff. So I'm not concerned with him sitting for the last couple games. I do think that was just more precautionary. Let's err on the side of caution, and let's get Salon ready to be an important part of this roster come preseason, regular season, and all throughout the year. He's going to need to be an important piece and play like that 6th overall pick again that we know he is. Again, no concern there about Shalon. He's got his NBA experience, and he's going to be vital in the regular season. We've seen what we need to see, so it's important to keep him healthy as well. What this does mean is that up until the preseason, we'll now have to continue to monitor Sion James, Liam McNeely, and even Shalon to see how they're, recovering, how they're doing from their injuries. Are they continuing to get work in? Now, I know we've seen James, McNeely, and Shalon all in the gym at practice leading up to these games. We've seen some footage, some videos, so they are still participating in things like that. It's just going to be a matter of how light are they going to take it on them for the rest of the summer? Are they going to get back to full go basketball activities? Again, something we'll be monitoring for you here on Hornets Daily. We'll bring it all to you. We'll keep you up to date on everything that is going on in terms of the NBA roster. And speaking of the NBA roster, you guys know on Friday we left the show with a question for the chat. The question was, are the Hornets right now, with what we've seen in Summer League leading up to Friday, obviously 2 more games help answer the question a little bit, but what we had seen leading up to Friday was the current roster, the way it was projected, the way it was made up, the way you had it pictured in your mind, whatever it may be, was that roster an NBA-ready roster? Again, we got some good answers. Thank you guys for participating, playing along, interacting with us in the chat, helping build the Hornets Daily family. It makes it a little more cohesive of a show when you guys interact, and I love reading the conversations that you're having with each other as well. Steve Lowe 62, he said simply, yes, they are a playoff roster. So he thinks with the depleted East and the way it is, the team that Peterson has started to build from a front office perspective, what Charles Lee is going to be capable of doing in his second year manning the sidelines, Steve Lowe does seem to think that, yes, the Hornets are a playoff-ready roster. Now, some of you out there, this was a kind of a repeated thought, think the big man position is still a pressing concern for what makes them an NBA roster. Outside of that, a lot of you guys think yes, but it is still going to be vital, going to be important to solidify that big man position, something, again, we've been standing on the table about here on Hornets Daily. So it's the overall consensus, however, from the chat is that you guys do think right now there is enough optimism surrounding whatever we've seen in the Summer League, whatever positive vibes Peterson and Charles Lee are pushing from behind their tables and in their press conferences. All of that is working well enough to think, yes, most of the chat does feel the Hornets have a playoff-ready roster, and if I'm being honest, I tend to agree as well, especially with the depleted Eastern Conference the way it is right now. There's really been no better time in the last recent memory for the Hornets to make the playoffs, and even maybe make a playoff run here, depending on health and how well this team can mesh throughout the regular season. But just on paper, just asking me right now, I would say yes, the Hornets are an NBA-ready, a playoff-ready NBA roster going into, again, just an off year, a depleted year, an interesting year in the Eastern Conference. Can Charlotte take advantage of that, though, and make the playoffs? That's what we're going to have to watch for, and that's what will be exciting to see come regular season. Now, my guy, Mr. Lucky 704, he's back in the chat. Appreciate you down there, as always. He had a breakdown. He had a breakdown of his thoughts of the NBA roster. He too seems to lean on the side of got to answer the big man question before anything is really solidified there. But he also asked for a breakdown of the depth chart as it currently stands. Now that Summer League is over, we have a little more understanding of who is going to be or who potentially could be on that depth chart, on that roster. So absolutely, Mr. Lucky, that's something we're going to do here later in the week. I'll break down that depth chart. I'll get on that, and either probably on Wednesday's show, let's call it Wednesday's show, we'll have that depth chart breakdown for you. Thanks for that question, Mr. Lucky. As always, appreciate you down there in the chat. Thank you to all you guys participating and being part of the Hornets Daily family. It does help bring some just some more interaction in the show. Again, I love watching you guys converse down there. A nice open dialogue between down in the chat here on Hornets Daily. Well, folks, that should just about wrap today's show up. The future out in Charlotte seems bright for the first time in a long time. We know the excitement behind the young core. Now add on Con Knipple after an MVP performance out in Summer League. The other rookies, Kalkbrenner finally looked really good in the championship game. He had a solid summer all throughout, but looked really good in the championship game. Plus, the other two rookies who showed their bright spots and their promise when they were on the floor. Now we just got to get them fully healthy. KJ Simpson, Tajon Salon, their improvement. And folks, we are entering a dangerous spot here, something I said before Summer League. Now that it's over, it may have only gotten worse. We are crossing into optimism here in terms of the Charlotte Hornets season and what is to come. I'm scared. You're scared, but we're going to do it together. We're going to take this optimism and continue to build throughout the summer as we continue to bring you all the buzz here on Hornets Daily. Again, thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, smash that button, leave a like and a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys are thinking going forward now that Summer League is over, headed into the rest of the offseason. As always, I'm your host, Vance Ballard. We'll catch you right here tomorrow